All right, Happy New Year, everybody. This is the start of 2016. We're at the end of January here. Football's pretty much over. There's only the Super Bowl left. I'm actually watching the Pro Bowl right now, but I just went online and I saw that Will, from Will's Easy Guitar, Will Galvin, had a new video up about Tonewood. And I couldn't have been more delighted knowing that we're going to start off 2016 pretty much how we ended 2015 with the Tonewood debate. And Will's video is in a response to something that the guys from Anderton's Music in England did, probably during NAMM, whatever you want to call it, the music conference, where they interviewed some guy in front of all his guitars, and they asked him, the gentleman that was at the convention center, they asked him what he thought of Tonewood, and he said he thought it was 80% of a guitar's tone. So Will responded with a very clever video that was a kind of a mashup edit with some drops in it from a bit by comedian impressionist Frank Caliendo, and then he had Olivia Newton-John singing the song, and the Cars singing, and some other guy, I think from Turkish American Idol, was doing something, and it was subtitled. It was very clever, it was funny and demeaning, and he's kind of mocking Rob Chapman, Chappers, and the other guy from Anderton's Guitar Music that were pushing the Tonewood thing, as if interviewing the guy from the music convention inside the convention center, a guy that's manning a booth, is going to provide some kind of evidence that will settle the Tonewood debate or sway it one way or another. And these guys definitely have a vested interest in it as their guitar sellers and guitar manufacturers, as is Will Galvin. And if you watch my previous Tonewood video, I don't really have a dog in this race. I'm not a good enough player to be able to justify spending that kind of dough on a guitar that's got an exotic wood, and that there's going to be a benefit for my playing and my sound by having better wood than just a regular off-the-shelf, Guitar Center or Musician's Friend guitar that comes in the mail. And I play it through my little amps, and it sounds fine. But if you did see my last Tonewood Rat Hole video, what I do, how do I put this? What interests me the most is the response from the other people, okay? Now, I do tend to lean toward Will Galvin's side of the argument because he seems to have taken it more seriously and gone into more depth and detail to substantiate his argument. He's done a few tests, and Will's obviously a really smart guy and makes some really good arguments that Tonewood doesn't exist. And I haven't really watched that many Anderton's videos or Rob Chapman videos where he is providing equal evidence, scientific evidence that there is pro-Tonewood or whatever. So that's not why I'm here. Okay, I'm just glad that the Tonewood debate has been reignited. Football's over. I need something to look at. So I went, after I watched Will's video and read the comments, and at the time of watching his video, which was only a couple hours old, there were over 200 comments, and they were pretty entertaining. There's a little bit of name calling. There's some people saying stop and get over it, let's not do this again. And most of the people, I skimmed it, I didn't read all 200 comments, but there were some people that obviously they're on Will's site, so they sympathize with Will or they agree with Will on the Tonewood debate. So then I had to see what prompted all this. I went over and I watched the Andertons video, Rob Chapman and the other guy, the guitar selling guy. And I like their videos too. I like both of these guys' videos. I enjoy Will's channel when it's guitar related. When he's not guitar related, I tend not to be as interested in it. But that's fine because he titles his videos appropriately and usually provides a decent thumbnail. And if I see that Will has a new video that I'm not interested in or the subject matter doesn't appeal to me, I just don't watch it. So no reason to, get mad at him or leave a comment and say I'm not going to subscribe anymore because I just watch his guitar videos and the other videos. Hey, buddy, come down. The other videos that he makes, I've watched a couple of them. didn't piss me off, didn't leave rude comments or anything. It's just not for me. And then the Andertons videos that I tend to watch tend to be about gear that I'm going to buy, I already own, or I'm thinking about purchasing. So there's a little bit of a bias there where I'm looking at a particular guitar or effects pedal or amp or whatever, and I really only watch the videos that pertain to those items. And those guys aren't so much like guitar vloggers or bloggers or whatever, providing unbiased reviews. They've got a stake in the game. These are guitars that they sell in their stores or that they've just received and are, looking to market or whatever, and they provide that type of service. And even though I don't buy from Andertons, I like their videos too. So I like Chappers, the Andertons guy, and Will Galvin equally. On the Andertons videos, there were over 500 comments. So, of course, I didn't read all of them in one sitting. I kind of just skimmed them and was delighted to see that there's a lot of hostility, a lot of name-calling, and a lot of, invective or whatever, directed at the people who disagree with other people. There were pro-Tonewood people, there were anti-Tonewood people, but it seemed to me like the pro-Tone, from what I read of the 500 comments, the pro-Tonewood people seem to be a little more hostile right off the bat. Like one of the first comments I read said, well, if you can't hear the difference in the wood of the guitar, then you must not have very good hearing. Obviously trying to insult the person who he disagreed with. And I don't even know if that's a valid criticism or remark on somebody that says they don't believe in Tonewood's, saying that they don't have hearing. Because I've asked before if somebody can provide examples of recorded materials that I can listen to and actually hear the difference in the same model guitar but different wood. And nobody's yet to send anything. And if they did, I'd probably be watching it on YouTube where the audio quality is compressed even worse than MP3s and other stuff because it's video and it's got to be shrunk down in size. And I don't own an audiophile level stereo system. I listen to a lot of music on iPod and iPhone also, or terrestrial radio. And I don't have big money speakers or big money headphones or anything. So I started thinking the only way to really gauge this Tonewood experiment that I want to do, where I can actually hear the benefit in a recorded song, in a musical recording, would to actually be in the studio with the musician as they're playing the two different guitars. Because once it's recorded and brought to a format that most people can play it or listen to in their home or their car or in their headphones or earbuds, am I even going to hear the difference if there is one? So I'm going to go back and I'm going to read more of the comments on the Anderton site because I enjoy the hostility and the name calling and stuff and find a lot of that stuff funny. I find it sad that anybody over the age of, let's say, 24, I'll even go as generous as saying 24 years old, that uses the term butthurt. That is pathetic. If you're a kid and you're rolling around on skateboards and you're eating a lot of candy and takeout food and stuff and you want to throw the word butthurt around all the time, that's pretty cool. But if you're a grown man that has a bank account and you're making car payments and, living on your own and stuff, and you're telling somebody that disagrees with you that they're butthurt, you don't have much of an argument, because I don't see how anybody should be butthurt in the Tonewood debate other than the said manufacturers of guitars in either camp. I can understand why the people and I'm not going to use the term butthurt, but people that work at Fender or Gibson or any of these companies have an interest, and why they would take it personally if somebody provided evidence and made a strong argument that Tonewood doesn't exist. And conversely, if you're an anti-Tonewood person that went through the time and energy to provide your evidence and make your argument, how you could be somewhat not offended, and certainly not butthurt. But that's what arguments do. They cause people to kind of rise up in their tension levels and have less patience with people that they disagree with, particularly on the internet, especially on YouTube, and especially in YouTube comments. So if you're looking for some entertainment, we're at the start of the new year. There aren't many good movies out. Football's ending. Basketball, the NBA isn't particularly interesting until later on, like in March. Same with college basketball. So head on over to Will's site and the Anderton site and check out the comments and just enjoy them for what they are. That people that are that invested in the Tonewood debate, that don't own guitar manufacturing companies or small luthiers or whatever you want to call it, guitar builders, that are so mad that they're willing to insult people that they disagree with. Again, happy 2016, happy New Year, everybody. I haven't really picked up any new guitar stuff since the new year. The last thing I got was I think it was a Boss pedal, a Boss loop pedal. But I think the next thing I'm going to get is a Gibson SG Faded 2016 T. Does anybody know anything about that? Do you have one? If you do, let me know whether you think I should get one. They're pretty reasonable. They're pretty affordable. I'm not buying like super expensive Gibsons. Or I was looking at the new 2016 Charvel San Dimas with a double humbucker and the Floyd Rose, but I'm still reluctant about getting a guitar that has a Floyd Rose on it because I've never changed the strings in one, and I still kind of struggle changing the strings in just a regular hardtail guitar. So thanks for watching. If you have any comments to make on the Tonewood debate discussions, on comments made in the two videos, leave your comments down below. And if you have any gear suggestions for me or anything else, or you just want to say, hey, what's up, or you want to turn me on to some new music or your channel, let me know in the comments section. Thanks for watching.